My dear brothers and sisters, how often do we find ourselves lying awake at night, worrying about what tomorrow will bring? We think about the challenges we might face, the responsibilities we may fail, and the uncertainties that seem to surround us. But let us remember, Allah is the best of planners. Every moment of our lives is known to Him, and He will never burden us beyond what we can bear. The key is not to live in fear of the future, but to focus on the present. Take each day as it comes, do your best, and trust that Allah will handle what you cannot control. Make dua, ask Allah for guidance, and place your trust in Him, but also take the practical steps you can today. Do not let anxiety paralyze you, for worry never adds a single day to our lives. Instead, count your blessings. Look around at what you have already been given, for gratitude has the power to heal the restless heart. Learn from your past mistakes, but do not let them chain you to fear. And above all, maintain hope and optimism. For Allah's mercy is vast, and even the most difficult trials can be transformed into means of growth and success. So breathe, trust, and take one step at a time, knowing that the future is in the hands of the one who loves you more than you can imagine. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the most important keys to living a life free from constant worry and anxiety is to develop complete trust in Allah's plan. Often, we find ourselves overwhelmed by the uncertainties of life. We try to control everything around us, worrying about what will happen tomorrow, next month, or even years from now. We imagine every possible scenario, hoping that our efforts will somehow secure us from harm, loss, or failure. But in doing so, we forget a fundamental truth. Nothing happens in this universe except by the will and knowledge of Allah. Every breath we take, every heartbeat, every success and failure, every joy and hardship is part of a greater plan, a plan far beyond what our limited minds can comprehend. Allah, the Most Wise, knows what is best for us, even when we cannot see it. It is natural for humans to feel anxious about the future, to want certainty in a world that is inherently uncertain. But this is exactly where faith must step in. When we truly believe that Allah is in control, that He is the best of planners, our perspective begins to change. What once felt terrifying becomes manageable. What once seemed like a loss may later reveal itself as a blessing. What seemed like a setback may turn into the very stepping stone we needed for our growth. Life is full of twists and turns, and the truth is that we cannot predict what lies ahead. We can plan, we can prepare, but we cannot dictate outcomes. That knowledge, rather than frightening us, should bring us comfort. It is a reminder that we are never alone, that the one who created the universe is also guiding our paths. Trusting in Allah's plan does not mean we sit idly by, expecting everything to fall into place without effort. On the contrary, it means that we take action, do our best, and then leave the results to Allah. This is a beautiful balance in Islam. We are encouraged to work diligently, to pursue knowledge, to strive in our careers and relationships, but always with the understanding that ultimate success and protection come from Allah. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us to tie our camel and then rely on Allah. This teaches us that trust in Allah does not negate responsibility, it complements it. We take the necessary steps, but we do not allow fear or worry to consume us. We understand that outcomes are in Allah's hands, and this awareness allows us to move forward with confidence and serenity. When we place our trust in Allah, we begin to see life through a lens of hope rather than fear. We understand that difficulties are not meaningless, that trials are part of the divine wisdom that shapes our character and strengthens our faith. Sometimes what we perceive as a problem is actually a blessing in disguise. Perhaps we did not get a job we wanted, and it led us to a better opportunity. Perhaps a relationship ended, saving us from a path that may have caused harm. Allah's knowledge is infinite, while our understanding is limited. By trusting Him, we acknowledge that there is a wisdom behind everything that happens, even if we cannot grasp it in the moment. One of the most profound ways to develop trust in Allah's plan is through reflection. Take a moment to look back on your life. Consider the challenges you have faced, the times you felt lost, and the moments when you feared the worst. Now, look at where you are today. How many of those fears turned out differently than you imagined? How many of those challenges led to personal growth, unexpected blessings, or new opportunities? This reflection helps us realize that Allah's plan has always been in motion, guiding us even when we did not understand the path. It strengthens our faith and reassures our hearts that the future too is secure in His hands. Trust in Allah's plan also teaches patience. Life will not always unfold according to our desires or timeline. Sometimes delays occur and setbacks arise. Yet, when we maintain trust, we learn to wait with a calm heart, knowing that everything is happening according to divine wisdom. We begin to replace anxiety with serenity, fear with faith, and doubt with hope. Our focus shifts from controlling the uncontrollable to nurturing our relationship with Allah, seeking His guidance, and striving to be the best version of ourselves each day. Ultimately, trusting in Allah's plan is a practice of the heart. It requires surrender, humility, and faith. It is a reminder that we are part of a greater story, a story authored by the most merciful and most wise. The moment we internalize this truth, worry about the future loses its grip. The moment we truly believe that Allah knows what is best for us, our hearts can rest in peace, our minds can focus on the present, and our actions can be infused with purpose and sincerity. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let us strive to strengthen our trust in Allah. Let us remind ourselves daily that He is the best of planners, that every twist, turn, success and trial is part of His infinite wisdom. Let us act, pray and live with faith, knowing that the future is safely in the hands of the one who loves us more than we can imagine, the one who knows our needs before we even ask. When we truly embrace this, worry fades, anxiety diminishes, and our hearts find peace, no matter what tomorrow may bring. One of the greatest sources of anxiety and worry is our tendency to live in the future rather than in the present. We are often consumed by what might happen, imagining countless possibilities, most of which never materialize. We think about problems that may never occur, we fear challenges that may never come, and we allow ourselves to miss the blessings that exist right now. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, has given us the gift of today, and yet so often we are too distracted by the uncertainty of tomorrow to appreciate it fully. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, reminded us to take life one day at a time and to focus on what is within our control, because the future is ultimately known only to Allah. When we truly embrace the present, we find peace, productivity, and contentment in ways that constant worry can never provide. Living in the present does not mean ignoring our responsibilities or failing to plan for the future. Islam encourages preparation, foresight, and effort, but it also emphasizes the importance of acting in the moment and placing trust in Allah's guidance. Too often people allow fear what lies ahead to paralyze them. They postpone actions, delay decisions, or avoid opportunities, imagining endless what-ifs about tomorrow. Yet, life unfolds moment by moment, and the reality is that the only time we truly possess is now. Each moment we waste worrying about what might happen is a moment stolen from the blessings that Allah has already given us. Our families, our health, our faith, our work, and our opportunities are all present realities. To neglect them in pursuit of control over the uncontrollable is to misunderstand the wisdom of Allah's plan. When we focus on the present, we allow ourselves to act with clarity, intention, and sincerity. Anxiety clouds judgment and distorts perspective, making challenges seem larger and obstacles more insurmountable than they really are. But when we center ourselves in the present, we can assess situations more realistically, make thoughtful decisions, and respond to life's challenges with patience and wisdom. Our actions become purposeful rather than reactive, and we can approach each task with a calm heart and a clear mind. This focus transforms ordinary moments into acts of worship, because every sincere effort done with mindfulness, in accordance with Allah's guidance, is rewarded. Gratitude is closely tied to living in the present. How can we truly appreciate what we have if our minds are constantly wandering to an imagined future? We may possess health, a loving family, a roof over our heads, food on the table, and countless other blessings. Yet, if we are preoccupied with what might go wrong tomorrow, we fail to notice these gifts today. Islam teaches us to be grateful in every moment, and gratitude has a powerful way of grounding us in the present. When we actively count our blessings, we shift our focus from worry to thankfulness, and from fear to faith. The act of recognizing what is already in our hands is an antidote to the anxiety of what is not yet revealed. Focusing on the present also teaches us patience and resilience. Life is unpredictable and there will always be challenges. However, when we learn to live moment by moment, we are better equipped to face hardships as they come, rather than being overwhelmed by a future we cannot control. It is in this mindfulness that our reliance on Allah deepens. We understand that while we cannot foresee every difficulty, we can meet each moment with faith, trusting that Allah will guide us through every trial. The present is where action happens, where change is possible, and where faith is tested and strengthened. Ignoring it for the sake of hypothetical worries robs us of both effectiveness and spiritual growth. The Quran repeatedly reminds us of the importance of mindfulness and awareness of the present. Allah does not burden us with knowledge of every twist and turn in life. Instead, He gives us guidance, the ability to act, and the responsibility to do our best in each moment. By focusing on today, we honor this trust and act with sincerity and dedication. We prioritize what we can influence while leaving the outcome to the one who knows all. This balance creates a sense of peace that no amount of speculation about the future can provide. Let us reflect on this deeply. How many moments have been lost because our minds were elsewhere? How many opportunities were missed because we feared what might happen? The reality is that every day, every hour, every breath is a gift from Allah. If we spend it consumed by worry about tomorrow, we are failing to live fully and faithfully. To live in the present is to act with intention, to cherish our blessings, to strengthen our relationships, and to engage in meaningful worship. It is to prepare for the future not by fear, but by faithful action today. So let us remind ourselves constantly to focus on the present. Let us breathe, act, pray, and live with mindfulness, knowing that Allah's wisdom encompasses all that has happened and all that will happen. The present is where we have power, where we have choice, and where we can cultivate the peace that comes from faith. When we center ourselves in today, fear of the future loses its hold, anxiety diminishes, and our hearts find a tranquility that only comes from placing trust in the one who knows best. Let every moment be a chance to act, to serve, to thank, and to grow. For this is the life that Allah has given us, and this is the life we are called to embrace fully. One of the most powerful tools we have as believers is the act of turning to Allah in sincere supplication, making dua and relying upon Him in every aspect of our lives. Yet so often we underestimate its impact, or we approach it half-heartedly, thinking that our own efforts alone are sufficient to navigate the uncertainties of the future. But Islam teaches us that while action and effort are essential, true peace and certainty come from recognizing our dependence on the one who holds the entire universe in His hands. Every worry, every fear, every hesitation we have about what lies ahead can be soothed through sincere reliance on Allah, coupled with thoughtful action. Dua is not merely a ritual, it is a conversation of the heart, a declaration of our faith, and a powerful acknowledgement that our lives are ultimately in Allah's hands. When we make dua, we are engaging in a deeply spiritual act that brings both comfort and clarity. It is an opportunity to release our burdens, to speak honestly to our Creator, and to acknowledge our limitations. Many people carry heavy anxieties about the future, trying to control what they cannot, and as a result, their hearts become restless and their minds overwhelmed. Dua acts as a spiritual reset. It reminds us that no matter how uncertain life may feel, we have a direct line to the one who knows all, who is most merciful, and who is fully aware of what is best for us. Through dua, we unburden ourselves from the illusion of control and place our trust in the one who truly controls all outcomes. Reliance on Allah, known as tawakkul, goes hand in hand with dua. Tawakkul does not mean sitting idly by, hoping for miracles without effort. Rather, it is a state of the heart, a balance between action and trust. We work, we strive, and we plan, but we do so knowing that the results are in Allah's hands. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us to tie our camels and then rely on Allah, illustrating perfectly the harmony between human responsibility and divine reliance. This principle is liberating. When we embrace tawakkul, we no longer carry the heavy burden of trying to predict and control every outcome. Instead, we focus on what we can do in the present moment, while leaving the ultimate results to Allah, who knows what is best for us. Dua and reliance on Allah also have a profound psychological and emotional impact. When we turn to Allah with sincerity, we begin to feel a sense of relief and calm that cannot be found elsewhere. Anxiety diminishes because we are no longer attempting to carry alone the weight of an uncertain future. We remind ourselves that Allah is the best of planners, the most merciful, and the all-knowing. The act of asking Him for guidance, protection, and strength strengthens our faith, reinforces our patience, and helps us view challenges from a perspective of hope rather than fear. Each time we make dua, we are reminded that we are never truly alone and that our concerns are acknowledged and understood by the one who loves us most. It is important to approach dua with sincerity, humility, and persistence. Sometimes we may not see immediate results, and this can be discouraging. Yet, Allah hears every prayer, and His wisdom in responding is perfect. He may grant what we ask for directly, delay it for a better outcome, or protect us from what we do not even realize could harm us. Understanding this strengthens our reliance on Him, teaching us that patience, trust, and consistency are all part of the spiritual journey. We are encouraged to make dua regularly, to speak to Allah with an open heart, and to maintain hope, because His mercy is limitless and His knowledge perfect. Dua also teaches gratitude and self-awareness. When we ask Allah for guidance and support, we become more aware of our strengths and weaknesses, our desires and fears, and the areas of our lives that require effort and improvement. It is a moment of reflection and connection, a reminder that our success is not merely a product of our effort, but also of divine support. As we combine our work with prayer, we cultivate a mindset that balances responsibility and trust, action and surrender. This balance is essential for anyone who wishes to navigate life's uncertainties without being consumed by worry about the future. Furthermore, reliance on Allah encourages us to face life with courage. When we know that the outcome is in the hands of the most merciful, we are empowered to take steps we might otherwise fear. We approach challenges with resilience, knowing that every effort we make when coupled with trust in Allah has value and purpose. Fear loses its grip because we understand that no matter what happens, our relationship with Allah is the ultimate source of security and strength. Every prayer, every supplication, and every act of trust reinforces this truth, gradually transforming our hearts and minds into spaces of calm and certainty. Ultimately, the combination of dua and reliance on Allah is transformative. It reshapes how we view the future, teaches patience in the face of uncertainty, and allows us to live fully in the present. It reminds us that our worries do not go unheard, and that the one who created us knows our needs before we even articulate them. When we embrace this truth, we experience a freedom from the paralyzing weight of anxiety. Our hearts find peace, our minds gain clarity, and our spirits are strengthened to face whatever comes next with faith, hope, and resilience. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let us make dua sincerely, rely upon Allah fully, and combine our efforts with trust in His wisdom. Let us approach each day knowing that our future is secure in His hands, that every challenge has a purpose, and that every moment of sincere reliance brings us closer to peace and contentment. In this we find a profound strength, a light that illuminates even the darkest uncertainties, and a reminder that true security and comfort are found not in controlling the future, but in entrusting it to the one who knows best. One of the most effective ways to free ourselves from the chains of worry and anxiety about the future is to develop a heart filled with gratitude for the blessings we already possess. So often our minds are consumed by thoughts of what we lack or what may go wrong, while the countless gifts around us go unnoticed. Islam teaches us that gratitude is not merely a polite acknowledgement, but a transformative practice that changes the way we perceive our lives. When we focus on what Allah has already given us, our hearts expand with contentment, our worries diminish, and our connection to our Creator deepens. Every blessing, no matter how small, is a sign of Allah's mercy, and recognizing them is a form of worship that strengthens both our faith and our emotional resilience. It is easy to overlook the simple things in life, the ability to breathe freely, to walk, to see, to have food on the table, to have family and friends who care for us, or to have opportunities for growth and learning. We may get caught up in comparing ourselves to others or imagining what could have been, but in doing so, we fail to appreciate the gifts that are already ours. The Quran repeatedly reminds us to be grateful, not only for the grand blessings, but also for the everyday moments that we often take for granted. Gratitude allows us to shift our perspective from scarcity to abundance, from worry to peace, and from fear of the unknown to appreciation of the present. Gratitude is a mindset as much as it is a practice. When we actively count our blessings, we train our hearts to see life differently. Instead of focusing on what we do not have or what might go wrong, we notice what is right in our lives. We see the roof over our heads, the relationships that bring joy, the skills we have acquired, and the opportunities that lie before us. Each of these blessings is a reminder that Allah's mercy is ever present and that our lives are imbued with countless gifts, even in moments of difficulty. By focusing on these blessings, we reduce the grip of worry and cultivate a sense of peace and satisfaction that no amount of planning or control can achieve. Gratitude also strengthens our faith and reliance on Allah. When we acknowledge the blessings we already possess, we are reminded that Allah is aware of our needs and that He provides for us in ways both seen and unseen. This acknowledgement reinforces our trust in Him, teaching us that if He has been generous in the past, He will continue to provide in the future. Gratitude becomes a form of spiritual armor against the anxiety of uncertainty. It reminds us that our lives are part of a larger divine plan, and that every blessing is a thread in the tapestry of Allah's wisdom. Moreover, practicing gratitude encourages contentment and patience. Life is not always easy, and trials are inevitable. However, when we focus on what we have rather than what we lack, we develop a sense of satisfaction that transcends temporary difficulties. Gratitude allows us to navigate hardships with resilience, reminding us that even in challenging times there is always something to be thankful for. Perhaps it is the lesson learned, the strength gained, or the support of loved ones. When we cultivate this awareness, worry about the future loses its intensity, and we are able to face life's uncertainties with a calm heart and steady faith. Gratitude also transforms our relationships and interactions. When we recognize the blessings of family, friends, and community, we are inspired to treat others with kindness and generosity. We appreciate their presence and contributions, strengthening bonds and creating an environment of mutual respect and love. This outward expression of gratitude multiplies the blessings in our lives, creating a cycle of positivity and faith. In contrast, focusing solely on what we fear or lack isolates us, breeds discontent, and amplifies anxiety. Gratitude, therefore, is not just a personal practice. It is a spiritual and social force that elevates our entire way of life. It is important to remember that gratitude is most powerful when it is sincere and consistent. A fleeting acknowledgement of blessings is helpful, but a heart that continually recognizes Allah's gifts finds true peace. Begin each day by reflecting on what you already have: the breath in your lungs, the strength to rise and act, the guidance of faith, the love of family, and the countless unseen favors. Speak words of thanks in prayer, share kindness with others, and let your heart dwell on the abundance in your life rather than the uncertainty of tomorrow. Over time, this practice reshapes your perception, turning worry into appreciation, fear into trust, and anxiety into serenity. Let us strive to cultivate a heart of gratitude in every moment. Let us remind ourselves daily that our lives are filled with blessings, and that each blessing is a sign of Allah's mercy and care. By focusing on what we already have, we free ourselves from the endless spiral of worry about what might come. We ground ourselves in the present, nurture our faith, and strengthen our reliance on Allah, knowing that He will continue to provide, protect, and guide us. Gratitude is more than a feeling. It is a conscious choice to see life through the lens of faith and trust, and it is one of the most powerful tools we have to find peace, contentment, and true happiness in this world. One of the greatest obstacles to living with peace and confidence about the future is the habit of holding on to the past as if it were a burden we must carry forever. Many of us spend countless hours regretting what we could have done differently, replaying mistakes or mourning opportunities that have passed. We allow these memories to weigh down our hearts, filling us with guilt, sorrow, and anxiety. Islam teaches us, however, that the past is not meant to imprison us. It is meant to guide us, teach us, and shape us into better human beings. Every experience, whether we perceive it as a success or a failure, carries a lesson and a purpose. If we can learn to view our past through this lens, we will free ourselves from the heavy chains of regret and fear, and we will approach the future with clarity, wisdom, and hope. Reflecting on the past is not inherently harmful. In fact, it can be incredibly beneficial if approached with the right mindset. By reviewing our experiences, we can identify patterns, learn from mistakes, and make better choices moving forward. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, encouraged reflection and self-accountability, teaching that each day we should examine our actions and strive to improve. The past is a mirror, not a cage. When we look into it with honesty and humility, we can extract lessons that guide us without allowing regret to dominate our hearts. This distinction is vital. To use the past as a teacher rather than a tormentor is a form of wisdom and a hallmark of spiritual maturity. Many people, however, fall into the trap of letting the past define their present and cloud their future. They carry guilt for mistakes they made years ago, grief for relationships that ended, or resentment for opportunities they believed they lost. This heavy load of emotional baggage can distort their perception of what is possible and paralyze them from taking positive steps forward. It is important to remember that Allah is most merciful, most forgiving. The Quran repeatedly reminds us that no sin or error is too great for Allah's mercy, provided we turn to Him with sincere repentance and seek to improve. The past, therefore, should not be a source of despair, but a reminder of Allah's mercy and the opportunity for renewal. When we shift our perspective, the past becomes a source of empowerment rather than a source of anxiety. Each challenge we have faced, each difficulty we have endured, has contributed to our growth and resilience. Each mistake has provided a lesson that strengthens our judgment and character. Even painful experiences, when viewed through the lens of faith, can be recognized as part of Allah's wisdom. Sometimes what we perceive as failures are actually preparations for future success, and what we consider losses may have spared us from greater harm. The past is not a prison. It is a foundation upon which we can build a stronger, wiser, and more spiritually aware future. Forgiveness, both of ourselves and of others, is essential in this process. Holding on to grudges or self-blame keeps us trapped in cycles of negativity, making it difficult to live fully in the present or to trust in the future. Islam emphasizes the importance of letting go, seeking forgiveness, and moving forward with a clean heart. When we forgive ourselves, we acknowledge that we are human, that errors are part of our journey, and that we are capable of change. When we forgive others, we release the heavy burden of resentment and open our hearts to peace. Both acts of forgiveness are forms of spiritual liberation that allow us to embrace the present and approach the future with optimism. Learning from the past also cultivates humility and gratitude. We recognize our limitations, acknowledge our dependence on Allah, and appreciate the guidance He has provided through experiences, both positive and negative. Every challenge overcome and every lesson learned is evidence of Allah's mercy and wisdom. By internalizing these lessons, we become more patient, resilient, and compassionate, not only toward ourselves, but also toward others who face similar struggles. Our past experiences, when reframed as opportunities for growth, become a source of strength and inspiration rather than regret. It is also important to recognize that dwelling excessively on the past distracts us from the present and prevents us from taking meaningful action. Life continues, and each moment presents an opportunity to act, grow, and serve. By holding on to what cannot be changed, we risk missing the blessings and responsibilities of today. The past can inform our choices, but it should not dictate our happiness, our sense of purpose, or our trust in Allah's plan. The moment we release the grip of regret and accept that what has happened is part of Allah's divine wisdom, we experience freedom and clarity. Our energy shifts from lamentation to proactive engagement, from worry to faith, and from fear to hope. Let us reflect on our past with gratitude and humility, not with sorrow and regret. Let us see every experience as a lesson, every challenge as a teacher, and every mistake as an opportunity for growth. Let us seek forgiveness where needed, forgive others, and embrace the present with hearts unburdened by what cannot be changed. The past is a guide, not a cage. It is a source of wisdom, not a cause of fear. By learning from it and releasing its weight, we prepare ourselves to face the future with confidence, trust in Allah, and a heart open to the blessings He has in store. One of the most transformative habits we can cultivate in life is optimism, the ability to see hope, possibilities, and potential even in times of difficulty. Optimism is not merely a feel-good attitude or naive positivity. It is a conscious choice rooted in faith that shapes the way we perceive the world, respond to challenges, and prepare for the future. In Islam, optimism is deeply connected to our trust in Allah, our understanding of His mercy, and our recognition that every trial carries wisdom and purpose. When we embrace a mindset of hope and positive thinking, we are better equipped to navigate the uncertainties of life without succumbing to fear or despair. Optimism begins with perspective. Life is full of ups and downs, successes and setbacks, joys and trials. It is natural to encounter difficulties that test our patience and resilience. However, how we interpret these events determines our emotional and spiritual state. A believer with optimism does not deny the existence of hardship but sees it as part of Allah's plan, a temporary challenge that can lead to growth, strength, and greater understanding. By reframing adversity in this way, we shift our focus from what is lost or difficult to what can be gained. Lessons learned, patience developed, and trust in Allah strengthened. Optimism allows us to approach life with a sense of purpose, even when circumstances seem uncertain. The Quran teaches us repeatedly about hope and positivity. Allah reminds us that His mercy encompasses all things, and that no matter how dire a situation may appear, relief and ease are always possible. Life is not meant to be lived in despair or constant fear of what might go wrong. Instead, we are encouraged to place our trust in Allah, to act with sincerity, and to remain hopeful. This hope is not passive. It motivates us to take action, to persevere, and to seek solutions while maintaining faith that Allah is guiding our path. Optimism rooted in faith transforms challenges into opportunities and setbacks into stepping stones towards success and spiritual growth. Optimism also influences the way we handle our emotions. When we focus on hope and positive outcomes, we reduce anxiety and worry about the future. Fear thrives in uncertainty and doubt, but faith-driven optimism provides clarity and strength. By reminding ourselves that Allah is in control and that His wisdom governs all things, we cultivate a mindset that is resilient and proactive, rather than reactive and fearful. We begin to see possibilities where others see obstacles, solutions where others see problems, and blessings where others see misfortune. This perspective shapes our decisions, our behavior, and our overall quality of life. Positive thinking is closely tied to gratitude and contentment. When we actively look for the good in every situation, when we acknowledge the blessings we already possess, we reinforce an optimistic mindset. Gratitude reminds us of Allah's continuous generosity and care, while optimism encourages us to anticipate good in the future, even amidst challenges. Together, they create a mental and spiritual environment where fear of the unknown loses its grip, anxiety diminishes, and our hearts find peace. Every time we approach life with hope, we align our mindset with the natural optimism embedded in faith, which assures us that difficulties are temporary and that relief is always near for those who are patient and trust in Allah. Optimism also affects our actions. A hopeful heart is a motivated heart. When we believe that positive outcomes are possible, we are more likely to take steps toward improvement, to persist in our efforts, and to remain steadfast despite setbacks. In contrast, despair can lead to inaction, procrastination, and a sense of helplessness. Islam teaches us to strive with sincerity while relying on Allah for the outcome. Optimism encourages us to combine effort with faith, understanding that our actions guided by trust in Allah can produce meaningful results even in the face of uncertainty. By maintaining hope, we engage with life fully, rather than withdrawing from it out of fear. It is important to recognize that optimism does not require us to ignore reality or suppress negative emotions. It is not a denial of hardship, loss, or pain. Rather, it is a conscious choice to focus on hope, solutions, and Allah's mercy in the midst of challenges. We acknowledge difficulties while refusing to let them define our mindset or our future. Every trial becomes an opportunity to strengthen faith, practice patience, and trust in Allah's plan. Positive thinking and optimism are cultivated through reflection, prayer, and remembrance of Allah. By consistently turning to Him, seeking guidance, and focusing on His promises, we reinforce an enduring sense of hope that can sustain us through the most uncertain times. Let us embrace optimism as a guiding principle in our lives. Let us approach each day with hope, looking for the blessings in our present circumstances and trusting in Allah's wisdom for the future. Let us reframe challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and uncertainty as a reminder of Allah's perfect plan. By cultivating positive thinking rooted in faith, we transform our hearts, our actions, and our outlook on life. We replace fear with hope, despair with trust, and worry with confident reliance on the one who knows best. Optimism is more than a mindset. It is an expression of our faith, a practice of gratitude, and a pathway to peace, resilience, and joy in both this world and the next. Now you have all 6 keynotes fully expanded, each around 800 words in a motivational Islamic style. If you want, I can combine all 6 into a complete flowing speech so it reads as one seamless, inspiring talk suitable for delivery or publication. Do you want me to do that? As we reflect on all that we have discussed today, let us remember that life is a journey filled with uncertainties, but it is also filled with blessings, guidance, and opportunities for growth. Worrying about the future does not change what is to come, but placing our trust in Allah, living fully in the present, and nurturing a heart of gratitude transforms our experience of life. By turning to Allah in sincere dua, we draw strength and clarity. By learning from the past without letting it weigh us down, we gain wisdom, and by embracing optimism and positive thinking, we open ourselves to hope, resilience, and faith in His perfect plan. Each moment we are given is a gift, and every challenge is an opportunity for spiritual growth. Let us act with intention, strive with sincerity, and leave the results in the hands of the most merciful. Let us replace fear with trust, anxiety with gratitude, and despair with hope. The future belongs to Allah alone, and when we rely on Him, we find peace that no worry can disturb. So, my dear brothers and sisters, breathe deeply, live mindfully, and walk forward with confidence, knowing that Allah's wisdom surrounds you, His mercy protects you, and His love guides every step of your journey. Stop worrying about the future, for it is in His hands, and embrace today with faith, gratitude, and hope. When we do this, our hearts are free, our minds are clear, and our lives become a reflection of trust, resilience, and unwavering faith.